Hey there yarn lovers, it's Gary and I'm coming to you from my living room here in Vancouver, Canada. So welcome. Today is Sunday, January the 26th, 2020, and this is video 28. Wow, getting up there. So I just wanted to thank all the subscribers and viewers who are returning to this channel, and those who are new. I have set this channel up to talk about my yarn journey, both in knit, crochet, and I might be venturing into a little bit of dyeing later on. But all my yarn crafts are included in this channel, so I hope you will join us. And while I talk about some of the things that I have happened over the week, 2 weeks actually, I've been away for a while, so thanks for your patience in my return. So I will start talking about finished products or finished items that I had been working on from the last set of videos to now. And this is one of the very first ones here. You had seen this 2 videos ago on the needles. It was on a long circular set of needles, and I believe it was 39 inches or 36 inches long, and I was experimenting with the short rows and Cowl work. So I would go up and down the length of the needles, knitting the fabric, and turning around midway and doing short rows to kind of get a nice corrugated wave feel through the color work. So I did learn a lot about what to do to help with the short rows and the pivoting and turning back to go the other way, to help stop it from making little gaping holes, or kind of like the types of yarn, what they would do with the short rows. So that was a piece that was very informative, and I wasn't sure when I was working it up whether I would like it, because it was all bunched up in the needles and it had all these loose ends everywhere, so it was looking quite in a disarray. So now that it's off and all the ends are neatly woven in, I kind of like it, and I'm thinking it will be really nice fabric to make larger panels in as well. I'm not sure how it would look for decreasing for hat, but I do love the wave feel that you get. It's very organic. It doesn't look like it's repeating like a pattern would, so there's no unification in the pattern work. And I busted through a lot of yarn. So a little bit about the yarn that I used for this short row experiment was this Line Brands Ferris wheel in the colorway Evergreen is in here, and also Yarn Bee's Soft and Sleek, and that's saying that it's a low peel fiber, and its colorway is called Denim Blues. I also threw in a little bit of this, which is Kartopu, from when Hobium was active on their international stage, selling their yarns internationally. I had purchased this a while back. So Angora Naturals is the collection, and it doesn't have a colorway name, but it has the number here, K1391. Now I heard a rumor, I'm not sure whether it's true, but maybe you viewers have heard or can confirm that Hobium has now started getting some sort of social media vibe out there, messaging that they could be returning back to the international market. So let me know if that's true. So I'll show you a little bit of this fabric, a little bit more up close so you can see what I had done. So as you can see, the Denim Blues kind of goes in and up and down and thicker and thinner in places, and the green also does that as well. So the thing too that I had learned from this as well, to help with the fabric staying square, I had to balance up each chunk of color that I was doing the short rows with, and do the other color coming back to fill in the missing bits, so to speak. So the short rows would then balance up so the fabric would be relatively square. So it is a little bit thinner in some places just because I wasn't counting stitches and I wasn't making sure that the fabric was in complete rows. But I don't mind that it's not perfectly square. It's quite organic feeling. So loved how that ended up, and I'm thinking of doing a few more pieces. I'm not sure whether it will work with other garments, like if you needed to decrease to make a hat out of this kind of fabric, or if you needed to do construction for sweaters. So right now it's working out well for just wraps or the scarf experiment that I have just done here. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, and it sort of bunches up really nicely. There we go. And hubby's just come home from his run. He's in a half marathon in a couple of weeks, and he's a crazy runner where generally you would have to train for months on end to build up to the stamina of making a half marathon or completing a marathon. So he goes out and does 3 runs and does half a marathon basically. So welcome home, honey. So here we have another project that I finished, and it was a stash buster, and I created this cowl, and it uses I believe it's called the granny stitch square, and I didn't do 3 stitches. I did 2 double crochets in each of the holes below, so it wouldn't be such a plump piece, that it would be quite a narrow design of color change. Rather than 3, I did 2. So that worked out really nice and fluffy. So yeah, I really like that as well. And so satisfying to bust through some of the yarn that I have left over from other projects, and the whole randomization of color as well just is an exploration of playing with yarn, and the results are always surprising. So I'm really happy to do more of those as well. I kind of chose weights that were similar in my stash to bust through to get a fabric that wouldn't be too wonky, and most of these were DK weight, and when it was thinner, because I used a little bit of this as well, and another one here. Oh no, that was in a different project. So this is a little finer. So what I did was I actually did 3 in each loop, like a traditional granny square would have, like 3, I guess, double crochets. So I kind of made these a bit more plump in this fabric. So that's that one. The other project that I completed was this crocheted scarf, and in my last video I visited Michael's and I did some filming on the layout of my Michael's here in Vancouver, and stopped at where the Lime Brand's Mandala Tweed Stripes was, like a rack of their tweed stripes. And this is one of their tweed stripes called the White Elephant, in the colorway White Elephant. And I picked up this, ooh, it's a bit shiny, this free pattern from Michael's that uses that very yarn. And if you want to do this, here's a screen grab of the pattern. And in that video, the last one, which is video 27, I think, I was working this up the evening of when I had purchased the yarn, and the dye was running on my hand. So I'll just show you this first. So that really worked out nicely, and the best part about the stitch count, or I would say the foundation chain that they ask you to commence this scarf, worked out to be the perfect length of when the color changed. So I don't have any, and I didn't color control this at all, I don't have any flipping of the colors into the next row. So I don't know whether they did that intentionally, but it was a perfect formula for the cake that I had purchased. And I wanted to just touch base to one of my YouTube people that I watch out there. Her name's Petra, and Petra had the same issue. In her video that she had showcased her little shawlette that she did with Mandala Tweed Stripes, she also had it leach onto her hand. The dye came out on her hands. And Petra, I absolutely love your channel. Her channel is called Petra's Happy Place, and I'm going to link her channel below for other viewers who are looking to get it's like a dose of infectious drive and enthusiasm for yarn arts, and Petra does give that to me every time I watch her. I love it. I've done a couple of her live chats as well. So just a little bit of catch up with what I did with this problem was I forwarded an email to Lion Brand and just told them what was happening with the yarn, and that other viewers have had that experience as well. So I've been given some advice from the yarn community, thank you so much for the comments, that I should soak this in some water and vinegar, some salt as well, I heard, to set the dye, and you know, just to make sure that I'm not going to throw it in with a wash load and then have that dye leach into other fabrics. So that should set the dye, I'm hoping, and yeah, so that worked out really well. Now I am going to be talking about some works in progress and a little bit of an exploration again. Here was a crochet stitch that I practice on. I was going to do a cowl out of it, and I ended up not liking the combination of yarn and stitch work. Not to say anything against this particular stitch, but it was like a basket weave stitch that did the vertical and horizontal. It was front post double crochet and then switching up to a different, I think it was the back post double crochet. So it was fully reversible, but I just didn't like how the thickness of the yarn type with this stitch. And I tried to frog it back, but it was that Kartopu, and it has, I guess it's Angora or some sort of mohair in it, and it caught up on itself, and it got so tangled that I gave up. It was probably double this size, and when I pulled it back to reclaim the yarn, I was having problems. Every row that I was pulling back got stuck, and I, you know, broke the thread a couple of times. So yeah, I'm just leaving this as a reminder of the needle size and also the yarn type. Yeah, I would like to do that stitch again, but maybe in a lighter weight yarn, and also a yarn that doesn't have the halo of fibers. So that's a little bit of an experiment there. And I am so pleased with this piece. Holy smokes. Oop, it came off the hanger. But the last time you saw this was up to the point where this thread is running through right here. That's my safety, my lifeline here. And I had I didn't have the sleeves added on. I actually only had one cuff of the sleeve done, but now I've got both sleeves on the piece, the cardigan, and I am right up here, and I am just about to start doing my collar, and then I've got my buttons to put on, my Kitchener stitching to do with the live stitches in the underarm section, and I tried it on and miraculously it fits me. So it's really fitted, it's not baggy at all, and I kind of like wearing it both open, and when the buttons come on I would like to kind of like have it buttoned up as well. So it's quite a dense fabric, and I was worried that I would have run out of the yarn that I was using, and I'm happy to report that I am going to have plenty to do the collar, and I'll have a little bit left over as well, which will be great for if I need it in case of an emergency to fix something up later down the way, or if I want to add a pocket, I can do that as well. So really happy with that. And another subscriber and I were talking about this very pattern, and I'm going to leave the pattern down below. It's called the Vermouth, and she was also buying her yarn at the same time I was. I guess I video recorded this project at the beginning when I was thinking about using the pattern, and she went out and she bought her latte cakes to make the sweater cardigan as well. So I hope you're going well with your sweater cardigan as well. I know, I assume that you know who I'm talking to, so I hope it's going very well for you. But this is my piece, and I super love the texture in it. Yeah, I'll showcase it again when it's done. But what I did use, just to recap quickly, was the Utopia Baby from Hobium. And this is a cotton acrylic blend. And the color number here is D3528. And Ice Yarns, actually, this was 100% acrylic, sorry. And Ice Yarns Lorena Colorful. In this colorway, it's like a gray and white mild cotton acrylic. So this one is the one that has cotton acrylic in it. I don't know what the measurements are. 55 cotton, 45 acrylic. So I hold them together to create this. There was a little bit of an experiment with finding the blend that worked for that fabric. So really happy with that piece. And another piece that I'm working on is I learnt a new stitch, and it's called the herringbone stitch, and it's a knit stitch. So I have produced this fabric here. The herringbone stitch is this one here in this section, and these are the back sides of the herringbone. So if I turn it over, you get to see the front side of the herringbone and the front side. So I'm actually, and that's the back side. I'm doing a switch up of herringbone stitch for 9 rows, and then I'm doing 1 by 1 ribbing for 9 rows, and then changing up again in the next 9, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm doing a length that will be probably 3 times this, and I'm going to turn it this way, sew the ends together to make a cowl. It'll be probably about that long when it's doubled up. So yeah, it's turning out to be quite an interesting fabric. And the wool that I'm using, or I should say the yarn that I'm using, it might actually have wool in it, is from Ice as well. Here I am with my needle. So it is wool melange, from Ice, and it's 30% wool, 70% acrylic. And I liked the washi effect of it. The only issue that I find with this one is, again, the halo on this one. Unlike the Kartopu, the halo stayed on the Kartopu, but this halo, actually, you can pull it off. And I have a feeling that this is gonna peel very, very quickly, and fluff is just gonna come off. Perhaps maybe on your garments as well when you wear something like this. The fibers in this yarn will probably trail off and stick to your clothing. So that's one of the issues that I have with this particular yarn. Also, when you're working with this yarn, it is quite it's quite a sensitive yarn, I would call it. That if your needle or your point of your needle pierces the strand, it can fray. It can get really out of control, and you lose the definition of the stitch once you kind of fray it. And I have done so in a few places that you can see in the yarn how it sort of frays. So if you have to be quite conscientious of like where you're putting your needle, so it doesn't give you an enjoyable, relaxing, so you can watch movies with you got to look down at your needles to see what you're doing, and be very purposeful with where you are placing your needle. So for that, in that aspect, it isn't a zen type of experience when you're knitting with this yarn. And also with me being quite unfamiliar with the herringbone stitch, I also had to be quite focused when I did the new stitch. So I'm gonna leave down below where I found a great tutorial from Stacy, and she's from a VeryPink Knits, and she is brilliant. When you watch her tutorial, she jumps right into it and she shows you the necessary stitch work to do to achieve the herringbone. So I really liked that very much. So if you haven't seen Stacy or haven't done any of her tutorials, I do highly recommend you going down there and visiting her site. So yeah, that completes my works in progress and my finished items. Now I have a little bit of yarn that I'm going to showcase. As you saw in my previous video, I was visiting Michael's, and it's something I do regularly just to break up my day. I work from home, so I like going down to Michael's to, stretch the legs, get a little bit of yarny goodness into the day. And I purposely go down there because I have the idea and strategy of saving money by using their daily coupons, and they allow most of the times a 45% discount from one item, regular priced item that you buy at Michael's. So it only takes me 10 minutes to walk down there. So I would have a break, go grab a coffee, go to Michael's and buy one yarn so that I could make use of the coupon. So what I had got was, over a series of days, was not Lime Brands, this is Loops and Threads, which is the house brand for Michael's. Their yarn called Colors, and this one I've actually used in a project already, but that's what it looks like. And this colorway is called Coffee and Cream, and it's 100% acrylic. It's a 4 medium weight. They're suggesting using 4mm set of knitting needles or 4mm crochet hook. It is made in Turkey, And in each ball you get 507.44 yards, which is 464 meters, and it's 200 grams in a skein. So yeah, I used a bit of this, but it's actually quite a heavy yarn. So the drape on this would be lovely. It does have a little bit of a halo. And so this was probably one of the days I went down there, but I also went back on a separate day and I got this one here. And this one has the same stats. It has all the same, all the same stats. And the colorway here is called Coral Fountain. That really suits my walls actually, and that painting. Yeah, so really, really nice yarn there. And then on a separate day, I got this one. And this one's colorway is called Candy Shop. So, I should show you the care instructions if you should need those. It's saying to wash in cold water and lay flat to dry. It's a nice color as well. This one is called Amber Brew. Oh, I like that one too, a lot. This one here reminds me of pajamas, I don't know why. This one is Steel City Blues. Really squishy, and it's not itchy at all. Like you could make a scarf and wear that against your skin with no undergarments required. I love that term. And this one here. So you could see here, this is probably 6 visits that I've gone to. 5 visits actually. No, 6 visits so far. And this colorway here is called Jungle Camouflage. Really, really nice colors. And on a different day, they had their 2-for-1 deal. Sorry, was it 2 for 1? No, I think these were just marked down. Yeah, the Impeccable yarn, and it's kind of in this jeans wash kind of style fabric, dye, and I believe that these ones were, I don't know what the price range was for them, a couple dollars I think each, and it's in the colorway Indigo. So these are I'll show you the details. So what we have here is medium fall weight. You can machine wash, and it's saying here that it is, oh my god, the opera singer's walking by my building right now. Do you hear that? I haven't heard him for a long time. Wow. Sometimes I love living in the city. So the colorway, again, Indigo, and they're suggesting a 5mm crochet hook or a 4.5mm set of knitting needles, I think. Yeah, 100% acrylic, and I'm not made in India. So yeah, those are all the details. Oh yeah, no, the yards are there too. So yeah, sorry, I'm getting distracted by the singing. It's wonderful. So I have a few shout outs to do before I finish up. And that is a few of the new subscribers who are just building their channel of late, and I've been watching them. So I'm gonna shout out Elaine from Elaine Hooked on Yarn and Life. I saw her unboxing a couple of her purchases, and she did an awesome job. And I liked her channel so much that I subscribed, and I'm interested to see where her journey goes. I also watched Callie from KO Crafts by Callie, and Tracy from Creatively Tracy as well. I've been watching her for a while. I really like her channel as well. She is a great storyteller, so I really enjoy watching her channel. And also to a few subscribers who are popular and well established there in our community, they gave me a shout out. So I'm always really grateful and have so much respect for these individuals. So I'm so humbled when they actually talk a little bit about my channel and my journey. So I want to shout out to Kit from All Things Crochet and Knit, Petra again from Petra's Happy Place. I think she's brilliant. And Sandy from Crochet Eh. Now, I've been watching her of late, and she's going through a very tough time right now, and I just want to say that our thoughts and prayers are with you. And yeah, I don't want to get too much into I've written to her and I've given her my love and support. So yeah, if you are looking to go and see beautiful fireside sweaters or garments, and she does wonderful cardigans in crochet, go visit Sandy at Crochet Eh. So yeah, with that, I think I'm all done. Just a little bit of housekeeping here, and I want to just say that I'm not affiliated with any of the yarns shops or stores or any of the products or brand lines that I'm showcasing here today. These are all yarn that I've purchased with my own funds, and these are my honest opinions that have not been forced by any affiliation with any yarn company. So yeah, I am going to get back to you about what Lion Brand says about my message I left them, and yeah, so we'll see what they come back with as a resolution to the dye running issue that Mandala Tweed Stripes is having. And yeah, so with that, I hope you're having a great day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.